Welcome to Lubrication Across the Nation, presenting you with unique stories and conversations from across the country. We're always discussing things like working the trades, sciences, and of course, art. But there's a lot more involved as well. So make sure to listen in. And it's all brought to you by Dynamic Green Products, DGP, bio-based, zero compromise. Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Another Slick Minute. And I'm here in the booth with Michael from Woogity Wood Works over in near Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
But what's the actual town you would...
So our shop is technically in Pittman Center, but it's like a subsidiary of Gatlinburg.
Gotcha.
And then we live further out in the mountains and secret spot.
Yeah, I was just going to say no sharing of that zip code or PO box or anything else of that nature. But thank you for joining me. So you folks are you and Charlie talked to Charlie just recently about her journey with DGP, but also in woodworking. And you've been doing some amazing carvings over the weekend. We have one of the carvings right here. We have Slick, our official mascot for DGP, that you carved yesterday. And I mean, it seems like I remember I did a quick little video of when Slick was just a wee little child, just a hunk of wood that you literally had just finished doing a couple marks on, and I think you were doing the first cut off of the outside, and now here it is. It was like a night. I mean, it was kind of funny because I remember coming back from it, and then I was like, oh, I need to get a couple more during scenes, and I turned on. I was like, wait, is he already almost done?
They come together quick sometimes.
It's amazing. It's that first. It was like, and I don't know. Maybe this is a thing or not, but it seemed like once you kind of got roughed out, it was like you went faster and faster as you were going. You still had you're still taking your time, but at the same time, it was like you were just kind of like. I was like, man, I could never do that with a saw. I could never be able. I'd be cutting it in half in a second.
I used to. I've made a lot of firewood over the years.
So, well, speaking of firewood and chainsaws, how did you get into this? Were you born into the
No,
woodworking
so I went through drug rehab probably 10 years ago, and my journey getting out of it, I was kind of roaming around trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I watched a YouTube video of a guy just dremeling and making like little wood spirits, and I decided I was going to try it, and then immediately fell in love with it, and just took off from there.
So So how long were you into it before you jumped into the chainsaw part of things?
So I played with knives and chisels and gouges for about probably a year and a half, and then I started on with a shop in Wears Valley, Tennessee, which is kind of on the opposite side of Gatlinburg. And I apprenticed there for a little bit, and they got me a chainsaw, and I just started going from there, and left there, went to another shop, then left there, and then opened my own shop, and it's been awesome from there.
Nice. I was wondering about that as far as the apprenticing part. And, I mean, Charlie mentioned that she had worked with you, and obviously still works with you.
Yeah.
At yours, but it's kind of cool that I think that's one of those things that we've gone away from. In this day and age, is the idea of apprenticeship and really learning from somebody and being able to understand how the techniques are, and then being able to kind of branch out and take it to your own specialized place. And you've been doing it how long now?
Been 8.5 years now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and your favorite thing to carve is probably bears, I'm assuming.
No. I carve a lot of bears. They're very popular, but they're good. That's how you pay the bills as a carver, unfortunately. Sure. And that gives me the opportunity to carve the random, crazy, weird things that I like to carve, which is very nice. It's a very reliable source of income as an artist, which is that as an artist, that's the hardest thing to find. It's hard to make money as an artist.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and that's, I think every artist has their, painters, whatever it may be, they have the kind of that base thing that they work off of, that, like you said, something that pays the bills, something that is, it's going to be good. And it's not that, the bears are cute. That's why they sell.
Yep.
They're, everybody likes a cute bear, carved from wood on their lawn or in their house or wherever it may be. So it totally makes sense.
Yeah, it's the foundation of everything I've built, so that I can branch out and do crazy, huge, corporate or commission jobs. We've got some things coming up that are, it's going to change everything. It's huge character carvings, huge kind of fantasy realm sculptures, and it's going to be awesome.
So do you have, what if you could like carve anything you wanted to, just like sit back and not have to worry, like you were a bajillionaire and you're just like, this is just my total hobby, I'm just going to go carve whatever today. Is there any specific theme or?
I like carving horror movie characters. So I'm getting ready to start on a 7-foot tall Pennywise the Clown. And I'm going to have him like holding Georgie's arm, out waving, and then holding like a thing of balloons. So doing awesome stuff like that. I love like pop culture references. And then like fantasy stuff like Lord of the Rings style. And yeah, it's so much fun.
So who's your favorite horror movie character?
Pennywise for sure.
Pennywise? Okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I love it.
Yeah, mine is probably I'd have to say Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think like it was one of the first ones I saw as a kid, and
I've wanted to carve him too.
So
one of our buddies just did a sculpture of Freddy Krueger. It came out awesome.
Nice. And I think it lends itself good to a carving as far as you got the face has a lot of detail to it, but then of course
all those like scars on it and everything, and the blade fingers. It's awesome.
So I can imagine probably, especially with the blade fingers, that's a little more. You have to be very careful when you're
doing stuff like that. The vibration of the saw, you have to be very careful. 'Cause wood is, it's brittle, so you got to be careful dragging it to certain ways, keeping certain angles.
That was something that I hadn't thought about before, and you had mentioned it when you were actually doing slick.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how you were going to get this section of the carving in, because it's an angle and and the wood's thinner here, and the type of wood obviously is going to matter. But you mentioned vibration. I hadn't even thought about. Yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, you cut straight through, and vibration wasn't even on my mind.
So like doing parts like up here, like when you're carving it, you can see it, and the wood's just like vibrating the whole time you're in contact with the saw. So you just have to be very gentle with it and just keep an eye on it.
And that's where you've learned from experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I've cut so many things off and tried to glue things back together, and it's fun.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to let go and start from it over.
Yeah.
Well, no. So walk us through a little bit with slick here. So for those of you looking at this, it started off, as you might imagine, just a round chunk of wood. You tell them what kind of wood is this?
This is white pine.
White pine. Okay.
Yeah.
And before we go further into that part of it, real quick with the wood, what type of wood is your favorite?
I prefer Paulownia. It's a Korean species that's invasive in southeastern U.S. now. It's the fastest growing tree in the world. Gets these huge like elephant ear leaves with big purple flowers on it during the spring. Yep. They call it the princess tree or the royal empress tree. It's got a cool, I think it was bioengineered in Denmark in like the 17 or 1800s. Then they moved it over to Asia. With royalty there, whenever a child is born, they plant a Paulownia tree. And then when they get married and start having kids, they cut the tree down and they build a wedding box out of it. So it's kind of like a royal tradition there.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. A lot of companies are starting to switch to it because it's so sustainable. Again, fastest growing tree in the world.
I didn't know. I've heard the name, but that was about it. So, but I didn't realize it was fast growing. Yeah,
you can cut it down, and from the stump, it'll grow back in like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Paulownia farms, especially there's one right by us in East Tennessee that he's got acres of Paulownia trees, and they cut them down, let them grow back, and they ship them out to Asia.
Interesting. So it's easy to work with.
Yeah, it's lightweight, it's very strong, and it cuts like butter.
Okay.
The cool thing about it for carving, like a big thing we have to think about is how long the wood's going to last, because most people have it outside. They put their big sculptures outside, so you got to think about using a wood that is going to last over time, and you're not going to have angry customers coming back at you that the wood's falling apart and rotting.
Sure. So, you would think that's part of they would think about that part, but that makes sense.
Cool.
So with slick here, when it's a big round circle of wood that just looks like it was taken off of someone's firewood pile before it was quartered, how do you go from that process to what we're seeing here?
So there's several different methods. I personally like to think of it like I'm looking at a sheet of paper. So I'll kind of figure out all of the angles, the major cuts from one dimension of it, and then I flip it and draw those dimensions on. That way I can get all of the different angles in. And I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain.
Right. I was just, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. The way you're describing it.
So I'll look at it like a sheet of paper and like draw the outlines on, cut all that off, turn it, and that way I can get the other side of the dimensions. That way you get like a full 3-dimensional thing.
And so when you start, obviously you're taking off kind of the bigger meaty parts that you don't actually need and things of that nature. But when do you just kind of go by feel at that point when you started kind of coming into it? Is there a certain point where you're like, okay, yeah, I've got it all basic now. Now I can kind of start just kind of free flowing? Yeah.
So once we get it roughed out, that's the technical term for it is roughing it out, where you get all of the major like cuts off, you get all the meat out with the saw. And then you can go in with like sanders, die grinders, Dremels, knives, chisels, and that's where you start putting all the detail and like actual characteristic to it and bring it to life.
And when you're into it, I mean, obviously you're going to have some times where you have to stop for whatever other reason, but like, do you prefer to kind of just keep on going at it once you get a piece of this size? Obviously, you know, if it's something bigger, you're going to want to take breaks, but something like this size, if you have your choice, are you into just like, making it happen?
Yeah, I love just going through and powering through, spending like, I don't know, like this took like I said, like 4.5 hours probably, but if I'm able to, I'll go as long as I can and just stay sucked in on the project. It's so much fun. Time disappears. Everything around you disappears. I think it's like that with any artist. Like once they kind of get into their rhythm, it's not always fun to step away from it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you go into a different world.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine it would be a little hard to get back into that rhythm too.
It can be, yeah. Doing it professionally though, like you have to step away at times. Like you run a business, you have to step away. So I've got like probably 30 pieces around the shop that are in the process. Right. Just different projects. Yeah. Sometimes you get frustrated with a project, and for it to come out good, you have to step away. Like you have to give it some space, give yourself some time to think on it and figure out what you're going to do next. The best process to get to it. Yeah.
And then it magically comes out like this.
Sometimes it turns out good. Sometimes
comes out like slick. And I'm going to rotate this real quick so that folks looking at the camera can see the full detail here. We'll come all the way around because I want to be able to show that. I mean, that handle turned out amazing.
Came out good.
It even shows up. Yeah, I can see it on the video here. It shows up you actually have the groove in the middle of the handle versus just being a flat handle. So I mean, it's come on, slick.
It's a little bit rougher in certain spots than I would like, but only had so much time.
There we go. Well, it looks perfect to me.
Yeah, it came out good. I'm happy with it.
Looks amazing.
I'm just a perfectionist.
Oh no, you're always gonna, you could come back to it a year from now and see something else probably different on that side.
My thing with art and wood carving specifically, I always want to get better. Every single piece I do, I'm focused on getting better. That's just with the bears that I carve. Like I've carved so many bears, and you get tired of it, like replicating the same thing over and over. It gets frustrating. It feels like you're losing your creativity. But for me, I focus on always improving, and that way it stays fun for me because every single piece I'm doing, I'm looking for things that I can improve on, and that keeps it fun and it keeps me doing it.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that you probably draw some strength from it.
Oh yeah.
As well with the background of how you got into it and everything, and you're using that as an outlet to really move forward with your life.
If you're an addict, you're always an addict, and I've just switched my addiction into art. And
it's a good addiction.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
of all of them, that's definitely a good one because I mean, being able to not only be so passionate about it, but it's something you're creating yourself.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's changed my life completely. I never saw myself getting into art, but life's funny like
that.
Here
you are.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Stranger things have happened.
Well, and with carving, we're here. We've got DGP is surrounding us. We're sitting behind Slick that you've created. And you've got a DGP shirt on. In fact, we don't. I about said we had the same one because I couldn't remember if I was wearing that one today.
My green ones are all sweaty and dirty.
That's the same with the other way around with my white ones. So how long you've been using DGP at this point?
It's probably like 9 months, I think. I think we started like last February or March. We switched over to DGP. Yeah, almost a year now.
So how long did it take you to notice a difference?
Immediately. It was immediate. I mean, unless you're running saws like all day like we are, you're not going to really notice an immediate difference. It's small in real time, but the long-term differences are major. Your equipment is going to last so much longer. As a carver, I do most of my cutting with one saw. I use MS-250. I usually go through like 4 of them a year. Like I just burn them out because I run them all day.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And the same issue every single time. The oil lines get clogged up. Worm drive underneath the sprocket fries. The pump gets messed up and clogged. And yeah, I've taken it to Ace, like the steel technicians at Ace, called steel themselves. Nobody can fix it. They don't know how to fix it. I've replaced like all of the parts in the saw to try and solve the issue. And it's like the heat from running poor bar oils just wears out the pathways in the saw. So you have to replace all of the plastics, all of the parts. And yeah, it's at that point, it's not worth your time. You're better off just getting a new saw. Mm-hmm. But since we've switched to DGP, I've not had a single issue with it, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, and a lot of frustration.
Yeah, absolutely. I still have saws sitting at Ace and somewhere in East Tennessee that they're trying to fix, and it's never going to happen. So switching to a better product it's so much. You save money, you're healthier. Like there's no other option in terms of bar oil if you want your stuff to perform and keep going.
And is there any with the backstory of DGP? We talk about a lot, obviously, in the booths and things like that. Of that nature, we've discussed it here on this podcast, as well as our online presence and everything, talking about the performance side of it.
Mm-hmm.
How big is the other side of it for you, the biopace part of it and the biodegradability and all those type of things? Is that, obviously you're focused on performance first because you have to be in your job, but does that other part play a factor?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a huge benefit. A lot of the times when you're carving, you keep the saw like kind of up close to your face when you're detailing, and generally with I've used anything from canola oil, motor oil, and every other brand of bar oil. Every single one, you get fumes in your face because it gets so hot, and your eyes just start dumping water. You can feel like the gas going into your lungs, which is not pleasant.
Oh,
yeah, with DGP you get none of that, it's huge. That, and you don't get like weird oil on your skin and worry about getting cancer and all of that junk, all of the chemicals your body's soaking in. And then with our daughter, we want to go home and play with our daughter and not have to worry about immediately scrubbing down and showering and getting all of the petroleum off of us. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and you mentioned with your eyes watering and things of that nature. It's not like when you're working with the wood carving stuff that you can easily just wipe your face.
No, it gets rough. You have to stop. Even with glasses on, the fumes are still going to get up under the glasses and get into your eyes, and it's not fun. You need to see what you're cutting, and with pretty much any other bar oil I've used, whenever it's hot out, you can't. You just start dumping water out of your face.
Yeah. That doesn't sound pleasant.
No, it's not. It burns.
So, and you said, if anybody out there who's listening, watching, all the other things, you mentioned that running a saw every day, you're going to notice things right away. Mm-hmm. On those. So for those people who might be critics out there saying, "Oh, well, I just use motor oil or whatever I do," if they're running saws for their livelihood, why should they switch to DGP? And how long will it take them realistically to notice a difference? You said instantaneous, but
if you're comfortable with the saw and you know how it, the feeling of it, it just becomes part of you when you run it all day. Within one tank, you're going to feel a difference. It cuts smoother, it cuts faster. It doesn't bog down at all when you're cutting because everything's getting hot and sparking. And it's smoother, it's faster.
It's everything, folks.
Yeah, it really is. It's awesome.
No, and that's the thing. The way that that's what I love about, we're talking with folks about DGP oils, is that, you know, in all the different products, is that everyone kind of has that same theme of there's just so many good things and no negatives. Why not use it? Yeah. You know, it's a no-brainer at that point.
It really is.
It's not, well, there's this, but there's also this. It's all.
You're dumb not to.
It's all the one. Well, so if folks want to see more of your work, how do they find your work, and also how do they, if they're in the area of Tennessee, the general area of Tennessee, how do they find your shop?
So we're on all social media platforms. Charlie, the Chainsaw Bunny, does all of that because I'm terrible at it, but it's Woogity Wood Works on everything. Our actual shop address is 2717 East Parkway, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So we're pretty much there every day of the week. Sometimes we'll get tired and take a day off, but I try not to. We need to take more days off. But
right. You need to go out more travel, like you did this time.
Yeah, this is a blast. I love doing this.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend here, as we were talking about at the beginning there. But it's been awesome being able to have you guys out and being able to see your work. I've seen it, you know, obviously on the socials.
Yeah.
But it's been, you know, being able to actually see you guys up close and personal, very up close and personal, having, you know, videoing, you know, stuff.
Getting you sprayed with sawdust and everything.
That was a fun shower. Both ways, the shower, like, you know, getting coverage, but it was an awesome.
The camera guys yesterday are asking us if we have air compressors because we got sawdust and all their stuff. What do you expect?
Yeah.
We have a house full of sawdust. It's on everything we own.
Yeah, it's like the old school taverns where it's just sawdust the floor. And
pretty much, yeah. We have to sweep like 3 times a day. I have to detail the Jeep like at least once every 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Sawdust all over our seats and everything.
Well, thank you, Michael, so much for coming out
man.
and being part of this booth, being part of the DGP experience, and being part of the family. I mean, we went out to dinner last night and got to hang out for a while, kind of outside the scenes, and being able to just talk and learn about each other is cool. So I can't wait to continue on that relationship.
We love Scott. It's awesome that you're on board now, too. It's the first time meeting you. But we've worked with Scott for a while now, and he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Me and Charlie both look up to him a lot.
Yeah, he's
a good leader.
I was just going to say, if you're looking for an amazing leader, he's one of the top,
awesome.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody listening, watching, doing all the other things, thank you so much for this Slick Minute. And stay tuned for more, because we got all kinds of folks to talk to here at the show, but then also as we go forward. So stay tuned for more.